Welcome. Let's dive on in. Targeting for sale by owners, listings in your farm. I'm going to make myself scarce just so you can see the slides a little bit better. If you're just hopping on, welcome. And this here is my free gift to you. If you want the show notes of it, it got all the things we're going to cover. You can just text the word FSBO, FSBO, to 844-950-3580. Again, I will show that to you again towards the end of it, but great way to just really get all the show notes and notes in one place. All the things we're going to talk about are on there. So again, we're going to talk about that at a later time. And also part 2 of if you like to leave an honest review of today's class, we do send out a thank you for your review box. And this is what we refer to as the business builder box here. You can text that word review and you will get a link returned to our Google page. And then you can just simply put your 2 cents there about how today's class was. And this way, we will send you a physical box, yes, to your doorstep. So you may get an email asking for your address so we can send it, but that gets sent out. Now, today I'm going to show you real strategies to win listings. This is a strategy that identifies the low-hanging fruit in real estate, ready seller leads, the ones that already raised their hand and said, hey, I actually need to sell my house. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, here's our disclaimer. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. We are streaming nationally. I am a licensed instructor in the state of Illinois. So again, if you are in a different state, please make sure you follow all the rules. Make sure you talk to your broker. You are your own business owner, right? Yada, yada, yada. All right. Now, if you haven't met me, I'm Janine. I am your host for today. And I do teach these free weekly lunch and learns for agents who want the how and not the hype. And that is a big one. I don't know how many times I've sat on a webinar and thought, this is really, really fluffy. This was a waste of time. I promise you, we're not going to do this. I did get my licensed instructor license. I am a full-time real estate agent. I am the creator of GeoCentral, which is an all-in-one platform for agents focused on geographic farming. And at the end of the day, I have one simple goal: create more hyper-local agents, because if I have to refer my clients, I want to make sure they go to a hyper-local agent that knows the neighborhood. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about the hidden FSBO gold mine. We're going to transform for sale by owners into your warmest listing pipeline. We're going to crack the FSBO mindset, how to shift your approach so FSBOs want to work with you. And we're going to talk about listings without the chase, the step-by-step system to turn FSBOs into signed clients, because I have not followed up with leads since 2023. And that system I'm going to show you. If you like a workbook and you like to scribble more notes than the one page I already gave you, feel free to get our workbook at thehyperlocalagent.com/workbook. It is no opt-in required. It's a straight up download from a Google Drive. It helps keeps you focused. You can refer back to it, because I know I lose sticky notes all the time. And it does have additional resources as well. Now, let's start here. For sale by owners are becoming a great referral source or even potential pocket listings if you have a buyer looking, but only if you build a relationship. I don't know how many times I talk to agents and ask them, when you talk to a FSBO, what's your goal? And they're like, well, get the listings. I'm like, okay, but have you ever thought about the other things a for sale by owner can do for you? I mean, yes, he decided to be a for sale by owner, and yes, maybe it might work out for this person, but there's also homeowners that don't want to be for sale by owners. They don't want the hassle. So for sale by owners, if you approach them respectfully, nicely, right, they might just be talking to one of the neighbors who's like, you know what, we've been thinking about putting our house up for sale as well. but we couldn't do for sale by owners like you do. I think we're going to end up hiring an agent. I much rather have that for sale by owner say, you know what? This agent here has done a phenomenal job. I would highly suggest you reach out to them. That is one. Two, I have a lot of buyers at this point in my farm asking, hey, do you have anything like this become available? Or, hey, we're currently renting, but we keep seeing you at every open house and wonder, do you have anything available? And would you help us? Okay. So again, potential pocket listings for if you, or well, when you have a buyer looking, are another great way for you to leverage for sale by owners. It's not always about the listing. No, most often it is, right? But sometimes FSBOs are set in their way. I just want to make sure that you understand every for sale by owner has the potential to turn into a referral, right? Because the neighbors will talk to that for sale by owner most likely. And if they thought about selling and they want an agent, I want that for sale by owner to say, you know what, this is the agent. Again, we're going to do it on our own, but this is the agent that did this and this and this. We were impressed. Maybe call them. And if you have a buyer looking, obviously this is a great pocket listing situation where you can be like, hey, I've toured a for sale by owner the other day and I think it'll be perfect for you. That's actually how my buyers bought a house in 2025. So again, it's all about the relationship. Always has, always will be. Now, fair warning, it is a rapid fire class. Ask all the questions you have. And some of the best FSBO tips up front. You need to have a system and you need to have automations in place because you're not going to follow up with them for as long as it takes for them to come to realization they need to hire you because you get busy, you get sidetracked, you forget, you might get sick, you might travel, things happen. You need a system and you need to make sure it runs without you. You also need to know how to respond to some of the most common objections. I've done an entire mastermind on for sale by owners where I asked 3 for sale by owner masters to come in and they fired through the objections. And I actually listed them out here for you. But this is where it's not about the script. And you see that at the bottom, scripts are only frameworks. This is actually straight up from the people that do for sale by owners as their bread and butter. You need to be willing to go for mastery. Okay, dabbling with for sale by owners is not going to probably cut it. If you're doing one every, blue moon, you're not going to be comfortable enough facing the objections. Bring something of value to the for sale by owner. All 3 FSBO mastery people that I talked to said the same thing. Give something of value to them. I'm like, all right. The bottleneck to your business is you. You're here to help, not to sell. Okay, that's what I addressed right early on when we talked about what is the purpose of talking to a FSBO. Of course, get the listing. No. Get the listing is one thing, but they might also refer you, or you might actually have a buyer that will ask you about it. Okay, so FSBOs have a lot of different things that they could become for you. So again, if your frame of mind was for sale by owner equal listing, yes and no. It might be for sale by owner equal listing, referral, or a buyer that's going to end up buying for sale by owner. So some of the best things, hopefully it was helpful. Now, there's benefits to being a for sale by owner. Yes, we all want we all want a piece of the pie, but there's benefits. And part of it is market related, as we have seen in the craziness of the height of the market. Now, lots of drawbacks there too, but there's benefits, right? Saving money. Sure, historically, FSBOs sell for less, but there's also the exception of the rule. For those of you that are on here and saying, no, that, FSBOs always lose money. No, they don't always lose money. Sometimes there's a buyer that will give the FSBO exactly the price they want. Somehow it's going to appraise out and everybody is happy. And that FSBO just sold for full market value without the commission fee tacked on. Okay, so yes, historically, most FSBOs sell for less, but there are exceptions. And that is like playing the lotto. For some for sale by owners, for some homeowners, it's worth the gamble to see if they're going to be the lucky duck. Direct pass to the buyer to understand their motivation without third parties in the middle. A direct pass for communication can speed up the process. And if I have to convince any of you that sometimes having an agent in the middle can slow things down, you probably have not been in business long enough, or you were just very lucky to work with very good agents all throughout. Direct pass to buyer is sometimes what a FSBO wants. Okay, they don't like the waiting game that us agents are playing. Negotiation power. Not all agents are great negotiators, and some even show your cards. If you're great at negotiation, this could be in your benefit, obviously, but for some for sale by owners and some agents, I mean, I can tell you conversations I've had with agents on the other side, and they just spilled the beans on everything under the sun about their client. And I just thought, if your client just listened to you, they'd be very, very upset, right? I've had agents representing sellers literally tell me that the seller is willing to take less than the list price. That was not the agent's job. I mean, great for my buyers to know, right? I've had listing agents tell me that they think their house is overpriced that they put on the market. Again, this is where some for sale by owners might say, you know what, I can protect my interest better than some of these agents can. So again, there are benefits of being a for sale by owner. Very, very valid benefits. So before we get into the how, the what, and all of that, what's hyperlocal FSBO mastery, right? I'm not going to talk about the whole FSBO. I mean, you can deploy it really everywhere. I'm not going to lie. This will work on the greater scale of, I'm going to do my entire, I don't know, state, my entire zip code, my entire town. This will work on it. But hyperlocal, right? Hyperlocal FSBO mastery. And again, yes, you can focus this on everything. Well, not hyper focus, but state maybe. And you can also niche it down to increase your listing inventory inside your farm. Now, for the hyperlocal FSBO mastery, you will likely never ever have enough for sale by owners in your farm to make a living off of them. Hence, FSBOs is oftentimes an entire lead gen pillar that people have built out, and they go all over the place to land these for sale by owners. But every now and then, there is a for sale by owner that does pop up in your farm. And the nice thing is, they will have already heard about you. You will have credibility beyond words. And it might be just a little easier for you to get your foot in the door and close them. So let's start with the number one question. Where do you get your data? Okay, we're talking phone numbers, addresses, emails, etc. And I promised you a very much no fluff class on that. We talk a whole lot about data and how to get it, where to get it, many times for free. We have covered lists before in several other classes. This here, by the way, is our class schedule. So if you have never received a class schedule like this, go get yourself one at thehyperlocalagent.com/schedule. It does list all of our classes out. Every Monday we run one. Pick the one that interests you, put it on your calendar, and show up for it. Replay is included as long as you registered. So where do you get these from, right? The data from these sources could be as simple as the sign in front of their house. We call that driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is you spotting the FSBO sign, taking down the number, giving the number a call. Hey, my name is so-and-so from XYZ Realty. I'm in the neighborhood. I see your sign. Tell me more about your house. You could also get data from Facebook Marketplace. Believe it or not, Facebook Marketplace is a very viable place where for sale by owners will list their homes. So simply putting that one on there, and you have to read through Facebook Marketplace a little bit, just because there are obviously agents out there promoting listings on there as well as part of their marketing efforts. And then they get a million messages. Is this still available? Anybody ever done that? Oh boy, Anyhow, neighborhood social media pages. I have a lot of times seen somebody say, hey, we're thinking about putting our house on the market and want to try it for sale by owner first. If anybody knows somebody looking, let me know, right? They kind of test the waters. They probably end up hiring an agent, but they thought, let me just throw it out. So yes, neighborhood social media pages. Nextdoor.com. Nextdoor.com is a fantastic source for exactly the same post. Hey, we're going to put our house on the market, right? FSBO.com or for sale by owner.com, any of these similar ones, feel free to Google it. Ask ChatGPT for a list of for sale by owner websites. I'm sure they're going to come back with a bunch of them. Any of these, look at it for your specific area you want to focus on, and you will find a lot of them. Zillow. Yes, Zillow is a fantastic source for sale by owner. There's other ones that are paid, such as Vulcan7, Landvoice, Mojo, any of your own lead gen pages. So for example, if you have a for sale by owner lead magnet out there, funny thing, I was actually just working on one. So maybe let me see if I can pull it up and show you what a potential lead magnet might look like. And share this tab instead. All right. So just an example of what if I just wanted, we haven't finished it yet, obviously, if I wanted to promote my own landing page. Okay, so there's that. All right, back to the slides. We've got My Plus Leads, RedX. Those are also paid. Personally, I'm a big fan of free stuff. I'm like, I don't think I want to have paid services as that, since it's not my mastery lead gen pillar for my entire county. I just look at it from a hyperlocal aspect. And generally, I do see the signs for the FSBOs before they even put it on any website. But some of these here are paid ones for those of you that are really wanting to dive deep. Craigslist, yes, it's still a very viable one. You can just simply Google for sale, right, by owner houses in your area. And also, don't eliminate for rent by owners, because for rent by owners might just be motivated enough to actually sell as well. So where do you get the data from? The next time somebody says, I don't know how to get addresses, you can raise your hand and say, you know what, you should attend Janine's class because she talks about this, and there is no shortage of how do you get the information, okay? For sale by owners, easiest one out there. They put their address on there, they put their phone numbers out there, they put everything out there. So simply asking to see inventory is an easy enough task. So let's move into what oftentimes is the bigger obstacle. The bigger obstacle is the objections, right? There's a reason that they decided not to hire an agent, at least in their mind. And it's a very, very valid reason, at least in their mind. So during the mastermind we did with these for sale by owner masters, and chances are you would recognize some of their names, but these people have truly spent years, if not decades, calling for sale by owners. So these 5 common objections came up from all of them, and they were actually going to debunk all of them for us. So I thought, let me give you what I've learned through the conversation, so this way you can handle anything that comes at you. I can do it on my own, right? I don't need you. That's why there's a FSBO one. And the most interesting part that all of these people had said during the mastermind was, do not try to change their mind. You are overcoming the I can do it on my own objection by giving them exactly what they want. Free avenues for exposure. You can get featured in our weekly newsletter, landing page that features FSBO listings only, right? There's a lot of different ways that these agents actually contributed to say, hey, and you know what? I will support you, because if I end up finding a buyer, I hope you're going to be okay if I bring that buyer and get compensated for it, right? So every single person said, do not try and change their mind that they need you, because they don't think they do. Time on the market will naturally help them come around to realization that maybe they don't need you. And if they do end up selling and they tell their neighbor, right? That's why we started this class off. Hey, yeah, I sold for sale by owner, but man, it was a lot of work. Here, by the way, here's that agent. They offered me a lot of help and I think they were a good human being. Why don't you call them? Okay. That is, all of them have said the same thing. Offer them what they want. So here's an example of a PS I added into my newsletter for one of the people that wanted to sell for sale by owner. It just said I connected a buyer and seller in Charlemagne, that's one of my subdivisions, and they bought a property without it ever hitting the market. If this is on your agenda, moving to Charlemagne and Hoffman Estates, attending Front High School, I'd love to be a neighborhood expert helping you find the deals that aren't always publicly available. Send me a message. So leveraging the for sale by owner listing that I knew about to find myself unrepresented, willing and able buyers to also help that particular for sale by owner get exposure. I did not market the property. That wasn't on my thing. I did not get hired to do that, right? I have connected a buyer and seller in Charlemagne previously, so I used that story to say, hey, this happened before, and as an expert, I might just be able to know more than other agents about the marketplace. Sure enough, found myself another buyer that is looking to upsize. All right. Everybody make sense? Yes? Okay. Don't argue against them, work with them. Objection 2. I don't want to pay commission. Now, focusing on the net, you guys are trained to do that because it's not necessarily the commission that's holding them back, right? I'm sure they have a bottom line. So if we can get this bottom line number for you, would you consider to work with an agent? Can I show you how we do it? It will not cost you a thing. If they do have a bottom line number, they have a bottom line number. Now, your options are obviously to be, that is realistic, I can make this work. And even if you sold by yourself, the comps aren't even supporting your asking price. You're really trying to find somebody that is just willing to overpay for a property, which most educated buyers will not do. So no harm done either, right? You just got to look at the numbers. At the end of the day, it's a matter of where the focus goes, the business flows. Make sure you are looking at it with the eyes of a FSBO. Are you more of a nuisance or are you helpful as an agent? Okay. They don't want to pay for somebody that's, in their opinion, useless. And maybe they've had a bad experience. Maybe they've hired an agent before and that agent did absolutely nothing. Again, that goes back to what are you going to do for your clients, right? Negotiation, helping protect the bottom line number, helping protect the wallet during inspections, right? Negotiating terms right off the beginning. A lot of these things can be discussed upfront. Objection. I have a friend that's an agent, right? I know somebody. It's not hard to know somebody. It really isn't. Everyone knows somebody. And simply by letting them know, you know what, I appreciate that. But here's a question. Are you doing them a favor? Do you feel obligated to use them? Or would you love working with them and also being okay to potentially fire them? Because if you're not willing to fire your friend if they do a bad job, you want to just fester and hold a grudge because you feel like they didn't do a good job? Or you want to just hire somebody that you don't know, a stranger per se. I don't know, like me, right? So this is not about convincing them. This is just simply putting it out there of, I hope everything goes well and you and your friend will always see eye to eye on everything. But what if that is actually a hard conversation? Do you think your friend will give you that hard conversation? Are you going to listen to that one? What if you're not getting the results and your friend is pushing for a price reduction? Right? And at the end of the day, Will you hold a grudge or will you value your friendship? That's a simple one. I personally loved the way they all handled this objection, right? Are you doing them a favor, or would you love working with, or do you love working with them, right? Big question. Just bring me a buyer. Everybody heard that on the phone before. And some of the ones said here, and this is why it's in quotation mark, some of the FSBO mastery agents I interviewed said, here's what they say, bring me a buyer and we can do a deal. Most of them said, it sounds like it's a match for my buyer potentially. Can I email you a non-representation form to go and see it? And that was just for them to get into the flow of paperwork. Now, I don't know necessarily if I agree with that one personally. There's another mentality out there that's not on here, but I'll give it to you anyhow. It is based on a listing agent and a buyer agent. So something along the lines, let me see if I can find it. It was really good. It went along the lines of, with all due respect, I'm not specializing in buyers. My specialty is listings, and this is why you're getting the call. When we work for our sellers, we do not approach them like a buyer agent would. We approach our listings like only an expert would. We make sure that there is phone calls placed to every single agent in production. This is the difference between hiring anybody and hiring us. So again, I'm not gonna pretend I have a buyer. I respect you too much for that. I am flat out here to help. And if the time comes, and maybe it comes never, that your house needs to go in the MLS and be represented by an agent, I hope I have extended enough professional courtesy that you do not think I am a liar just simply to get in your door. And I love this approach so much more because of the honesty that was behind it, because of the way it was not undermining integrity, that I think this itself is a fantastic way. I also will upfront tell every for sale by owner that if I don't have a buyer, I don't have a buyer. I do have open houses that I host in the area, and I do encounter a lot of potential buyers. And if they're not represented, I will gladly represent them and bring them over. Right? So I don't think you have to make things up in order for them to say, sure, come on over, have a look. So hopefully this was helpful for some of you. All right, moving on from here. I will use a flat fee service for the MLS. Right? A flat fee service for the MLS. We've all heard about them. There's a chance you could sell it, but there are also some cons. Do you mind if I go over these so you have the full picture to consider? Okay, that's just the objection handler per se. If the MLS was to sell homes, we wouldn't have any listing agents anymore, but we do. So this leaves the question, does the MLS really sell houses? Okay, that's just planting doubt in their head right now. Handling multiple offers, appraisal gaps, escalation addendums, pushy agents, agents not willing to deal with for sale by owners. It's the nitty-gritty going after contract that can also protect your bottom line. You're paying a buyer agent to negotiate against you. Your market time is accruing if you're going into the MLS, and that can hurt your positioning in this market. And we also do have flexible commission structures that I mentioned before. Do you want me to review that again with you? Okay. For sale by owners are all about the options. If you have not thought about structuring your business on options, maybe you do want to think about options. I'm not going to tell you that there's options that are right or wrong. This is your business. You decide what you want to do. But at the end of the day, FSBOs, they like options. And we've heard that more often than not from a lot of people doing for sale by owners. So again, FSBOs like options. And if you are thinking about going after them, you may want to have some of these. All right, so we've covered a lot of that. We talked about where do we get the data? We talked about some of the objections you might hear. Now it's a matter of, all right, how do I actually get in front of them, right? And there's 3 components that we're going to be discussing. The first one is a drop-off package right to their doorstep. The second part is a postcard campaign. You guys know I love a good postcard campaign. And the third one is the email campaign. So this here is just an example of a drop-off package. This one is my seller package, which is easily modified to fit for sale by owners. I showed you the for sale by owner resource one earlier. Let me actually switch back to this tab. You can see it right there. This here is a simple for sale by owner kit for success. Again, probably going to change this up because a for sale by owner doesn't necessarily know what a FSBO is. So always think about the terminology we're using, right? So download the free for sale by owner kit for success. And what is in there? Let me zoom in. Documents needed to sell your home. I don't know, might be good to have. We've got a Facebook Marketplace guide, step by step. How do you get your house on Marketplace? And yes, I'm actually helping them. Why would I do that? Because I know how many times somebody's going to say, hey, is this still available? And they're going to go out of their mind answering, yes, it's still available. And it's like, oh, okay. Do you want to take less for it? Right? I've been there. Take incredible pictures of your house. So there's a step-by-step checklist that they can then use and get good pictures. If they want to have an open house, okay, there's a sign-in sheet, there's a safety guide for it, and there's an open house manual. This is all the step-by-step. And by the way, if you have not gotten anything on what your home is worth, then here's also our landing page. Feel free to use it, which will then just give me their email. And there's a for sale by owner guidebook. Okay. So again, very simple, useful, put together. I don't even know when I put it together. It's been a long time, but yeah. So this is inside our drop-off package. Some of it, not all of it, some of it. Okay. If they claim this one here, you could drop off the entire shebang, of course. But just having a couple of these things in there in addition to your seller package might just help them realize this was a package designed for me. And they feel like you put the time together to make it specific to them. You're not just dropping off a seller box, right? You're dropping off a for sale by owner package. The next one is a postcard campaign. And personally, I did not want to design from scratch. So I went on the internet and I love a template shop called Elevated Agent. I know the owner personally very, very well. Her name is Kelly. And she had a for sale by owner listing prospecting postcard campaign, which included 9 postcard templates already done. And I said, oh, this looks good. Let me use it. So I did. I customized it, and you're going to see it in a minute, step by step, on how I set it up. So if you're wondering, okay, how does that work? I will literally show you the setup of it. But this here, you can just go to bit.ly/get templates now. If you would like to grab the same ones, by all means. I use them for my for sale by owner drips. You're more than welcome to check out others, of course, as well. But rather than reinventing the wheel and spending way too much time in Canva, because I could have done other things, I just went with that, customized it to me, modified the layout a little bit, and I was done. Now, I do think it's a lot better with a visual. So we do have a free training on geocentral.com, and it is listed under day 9 of our 25 days of Geocentral. And I'm going to go ahead and play that. It is a little bit of a longer video, but I think it really gives you the step-by-step of how personally we automate the postcards. Because once a for sale by owner comes in, I just put them on my postcard drip and out it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and play this one for you now.
For sale by owner, sellers see the value of an agent. Welcome to day 9 of our 25 Days of Geocentral podcast series. In our last episode, we tackled expired listings and how postcards can help you turn them into opportunities. Today, we're diving into FSBOs, for sale by owners, and how postcards can open the door to valuable conversations with these homeowners. Remember, Geocentral is more than just a place to print your postcards. We're going to combine postcards with strategy. Might that be going after expired listings, for sale by owners, talk about that today, new people in your farm, marketing around your listing, or following up with your sphere and past clients. The goal for postcards is to make marketing simple and you can actually do business while working less. For sale by owners often think they can save money by selling their home themselves. What they don't realize is how much time, effort, and stress that decision can bring. This is where you step in, not as someone looking to take over, but as someone offering support and expertise. A great FSBO postcard doesn't pressure them. Instead, it gently educates. Try something like, selling your home can be overwhelming. I'm here to help with expert tips, local insights, and a proven plan to get you top dollar. You're planting a seed, showing them that working with you is smarter, less stressful choice that they should make. You're going to provide value versus telling them how stupid they are for trying to sell their home on their own. And here is what makes FSBO postcards actually effective. They tap into the frustrations for sale by owners often face: managing showings, paperwork, negotiations. They position you as a knowledgeable, approachable expert they can trust. And they keep your name, of course, top of mind for the moment they realize they need help. And you know they will. With GeoCentral, you can put your own unique spin on postcards to these for sale by owners. You can even include a checklist or a free resource to add more value to your outreach if you really wanted to. Personally, we get for sale by owner postcards from Etsy. I'll show you where to go for the exact templates I get in our step-by-step video tutorial. And after customizing them in Canva, upload them to the GeoCentral print portal. It's super easy. The best part about it is that you can set up the entire campaign once and use it over and over. And it's not going to skip a single week of reach outs because you have the ability to add new Facebooks in on a daily basis, and they just simply go through the flow and the system. Remember, the secret is the system. So if you need the visual, you can see how simple this process is. Head over to geocentral.com, log into your account, and start following our step-by-step tutorial, which you can also find on our YouTube channel or on Facebook. And if you're watching this video on one of these channels, just hang on. I'll link it right behind. If you're listening to the podcast, we'll have it linked for you in the show notes. In our next episode, we'll shift gears to something a little more creative: buyer open house pass postcards. These are a great tool for keeping track of your buyers who you have an exclusive buyer agency agreement with. How exactly they will work, I will share with you on day 10. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you in our next episode for day 10.
Well, what you're looking at here is my for sale by owner follow-up. That's right. If I see a for sale by owner sign inside my farm, they're going to go onto this follow-up because chances are they can't sell their house on their own. They're going to run into issues and they really would like to hire me, right? I know we all want to tell ourselves that. So what's up with these templates? Where did I get them from? Let's start there. I am right now in Canva. I went ahead and bought myself some templates from Etsy because I like the way they look. So if you have a preferred template shop, feel free to see if they have one. If you do not have a preferred template shop, I'll show you where I got mine. You go to bit.ly/get templates now and look for sale by owner. There are postcards. I have resized them to 8.5 by 5.5 in order to fit GeoCentral. And then I just, well, branded them all to me and my brand. Yes, it took a little bit, but I know that this follow-up is going to work for me for the long run. So spending a couple hours just getting all of this done was not that big of a deal. Once I had this done, I hit simply the download button and I went over to the GeoCentral print portal. Now, inside the GeoCentral print portal, I want to show you a couple things. We talked about our expireds on our last tutorial. That was fun. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But this one here is all about for sale by owners. And first up, make sure you have a for sale by owner contact group created. Okay, so right there. You can create a new group simply by clicking create new and new group, create one. This way you can save this link here, and as you're out and about, you can simply add for sale by owners into this. Okay, so when you drive past the sign, you're like, oh, there's somebody. Look up the tax record on your phone. Jane Doe, right? And then Jane Doe lives at 123 Main Street. Oh, there's actually a 123 Main Street in various ways around me. All right, we're gonna go with this one. And when you have this, if there's a phone number, if there's an email, awesome, put it in there. Submit info, and they get added to that group. This will become important later because when you're out and about and you see that sign, it's so easy to just continue building your database. Okay. All right. So once this group is done, we're now going to go ahead. And first up, we got to bring the postcards in. So for those of you that are wondering, how do we do that? Well, we have the templates, we downloaded them, and it is super easy to create a new project, right? Create a new project. And then you just go through one by one. And in this case, I have 9 postcards. So I didn't want you to watch me create 9 postcards because it's a lot. There's help and support and showing you how to use, this if this is your first time. But it's really easy. It's drag and drop. It doesn't get much simpler than that. On the back of this is a smart QR code, also super self-explanatory. And if not, go back to one of my first couple tutorials. I do walk through it super slow. Clearly, we're picking up pace since this is already a lot further along in our GeoCentral journey. But here is what we want to do. Now, after I brought in all 9 postcards, right, it's time for me to automate the whole shebang so I don't have to be the one hitting send on everything. So I'm going to go to saved automations, and chances are I do not have it. So you get to watch me build an entire automation from scratch because why not? All right, this one here is our FSBO drip. I'm going to put this as a drip automation. Okay, I want them to drip out slowly. Create a new automation. I'm going to add my first shipment. In this case, I'm going to type in FSBO. Labeling cards comes in handy. So there's my first one. Actually, I want this one to go out 1 week after. I want to link my smart QR code. And then we're going to label this one FSBO postcard 1. So this way I know if they do scan something, when do they start scanning the most, okay? And I'm just gonna go ahead and add all of these cards in that you saw. So there's 9 of them, hence we're gonna be adding 9 cards to it. And then we're gonna go on a bi-weekly because, why not? Sometimes for sale by owners, I think maybe they have a little bit more urgency. They're like, hey, it's going to be super fast, right? The market is hot. You've heard it all. So maybe we'll do like a weekly one. By the way, what you see here, this is a GeoCentral Pro feature. So if you are having GeoCentral Pro, you're able to just link it straight into your follow-up for your sellers. And this way, when somebody scans, they automatically put themselves under the follow-up. So it's quite amazing, to be honest with you. And I don't have to do it. All right, so postcard number 2. Let's continue on. We're gonna go take postcard number 3. And then that one sends out, let's go with 2 weeks. I feel like after the initial couple ones, if they're not in a super rush right there, then they're probably wanting to play the, I have time, I'm not in a rush. Fine. I'm not in a rush either. I can make sure that you are as much of not in a rush like I am. Is it 4? Did we get to 4? See, all this talking now, I forgot to count. Good thing it's all changeable. So I gotta count FSBO 4, right? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Making it to FSBO 5. There you go. Can you imagine having to do all of this by hand? Logging in, sending out one postcard. If you can set up a system to work when you're not working, life can literally be so much better. All right. So here's this one. Let's go with card number 6. Add to shipment. 2 weeks. Linking our QR code. There is 7. We're almost there. And if you're following along for the step-by-steps, by all means, feel free to pause me. Just trying to make sure I can get through this one as quickly as possible. No money is made setting up a system, right? Money is made when a system actually works. So let's go through, send out 2 weeks, QR code, smart, safe. All right, 7 days, 7 days, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. All right, and the last one. There you go. That's out, 2 weeks. All right. There, yeah, go. Awesome. Now, what if I look at this one and I'm like, oh, you know what? I really want to add another one. And what do? I just click the plus sign and I can do that anywhere, which is kind of fun. I do have one that I want to bring in here. It's kind of like my Netflix card. Got it at the same spot that I showed you in the beginning of this video. So in case you're wondering, where's this from, Janine? Same spot. Go have a look. So now I just added this one straight on the top. Change the name of it. All right. So it's kind of my credibility builder. All right. So there's all the cards. Hey, look, $0 to print. Love myself some postcards. I do cover postage, so not that big of a deal. Manage recipients. I can just simply go find my for sale by owner group, enroll it. All right. Hit activate. So now the minute I am starting to enroll somebody inside that for sale by owner group right here, okay? So if I put myself on there, it will go through and it's going to start sending it my way. So for those of you that are wondering, okay, what does it look like, right? Send yourself a test. Let's see, I'll send it to my office for right now. Perfect. Let's put my, in here. I'll leave the phone empty. All right. So if I'm out and about, I can just simply add myself, well, not add myself, but add the FSBO sign, okay, while on the go. And that's it. So I hope you found this helpful and I'll see you in the next tutorial. All right, that was how do you set it up? This is now still running in my business, by the way, on autopilot. So if you actually managed to watch me for, well, really 7 minutes to put this entire postcard drip campaign in motion, right? This is easy enough. This now runs, and you saw after, immediately after a week, after 2 weeks, I think it follows up with that for sale by owner for 4 to 5 months. And yes, all on autopilot. If they have not sold within 4 to 5 months, guess who actually have reached out to them for more than 10 touches, right? If they talked to one of their neighbors during that time frame that they have not successfully sold, right? It's going to signal to all these people around going for sale by owner is not the way to go, right? So again, there's a lot of pluses. This drip alone is huge. It's just amazing how much it can save you on time. All right. Following up, email campaign. If you want a for sale by owner campaign, by all means, then you can go ahead and find a matching one. We do have a full sequence in our course portal if you're a GeoCentral Pro user, by the way. But now, look and see what we've covered in the system. We got physical items, right? That's the drop-off we talked about. We have automated emails, and you also just watched the automated postcard part. From here on out, all I do is when I see a FSBO, I'll just add them into the little address book, and they automatically go onto some of these postcards that get delivered, right? We can subscribe them to a FSBO one if you like. Personally, I just need them in my regular database. All of these things can be streamlined once you build the system. Now, where do you find that again, right? Where do you find the addresses to actually go in? You find these addresses by any of these. We talked about those, okay? That was the first part we talked about. Where do you actually find the FSBO gold mine? So again, just a quick recap of what we talked about. And remember, I talked to you about a free gift. If you would like the entire notes from today, including the FSBO objections we covered, where do you find them? The entire FSBO funnel, right? If you want these show notes, you can just text the word FSBO, FSBO, to 844-950-3580, and it'll get sent to you as a Google Drive link. Now, the cool thing too, if you had fun today and you learned something and you saw how a system can actually work for you when you do other things, by all means, I would love a review. We will send you a business builder box as a thank you for taking the time to leave us an honest review today. And I'm also going to be straight up with you. Now that you have seen how to automate it, there's a manual option to it, right? You could have a stack on your desk, and you can send out these follow-up postcards and these follow-up emails all manually. And that is typically what happens with traditional farming, right? Traditional farming and mail is what? Labor intensive. It really is. Don't take my word for it. I have been there and done that. Some of you know the story. This is my 3-day campaign. Yes, 3 business days, 8 hours each day. And it was all put together by 3 adults. So 3 days, 3 adults, 8 hours a day. And that created 1,000 postcards, start to finish. Just in case you're wondering, how long does something like this actually take? Again, the 1,000 postcards, that was a campaign to my farm. We stuffed, well, first we printed 1,000 note cards. So we actually didn't even handwrite them. We had our office printer do it. Then we stuffed the envelopes, we sealed the envelope, we put the return address label on, we put the address label on. By the way, we had to print the return address labels and we had to print the address labels as well. Then we stamped it, then we put it into the trays for the United States Postal Service, did the paperwork, and dropped it off. 3 days later, finally got done with it. So for those of you that have never traditionally farmed, this is what it looks like. And was it worth it? 100%. I did all of these things. I ordered inventory, I stuffed envelopes, I sealed, I stamped, I did paperwork, I took trips to the post office. And yes, I dealt with leftover inventory. It's actually how this campaign that you just saw came about. And in addition to doing all these things, I also had to keep in mind that, hey, got to keep up with my business, right? Got to still follow up with the seller leads. Got to still follow up with all my buyer leads. Still got to check in with my past clients. I also have to send happy birthday messages for my clients, happy home anniversary messages, create happy anniversary CMAs, send manual emails, post on social media, keep my profile updated, keep track of referrals and thank you cards. And of course, let's not forget that I also still have to keep my business going, aka serving my clients through buyers and sellers I was working with. Oh, by the way, I have a family too. So yes, it's a lot. And was it worth it? 100%. But after going through all of this, I also thought, what if there's an easier way, right? What if there's a better way? And for me personally, it's become more affordable and more profitable since we created the tool, which is GeoCentral, which is used by dozens and dozens of hyperlocal agents. And the time freedom amazing. The unlimited free printed postcards it comes with, game changing. Yes, unlimited free printed postcards. As geographic farmers, we love postcards. So making them unlimited and free was kind of like a no-brainer. So no more stuffing envelopes, no more trips to the post office, no more paying for postcards, no more paperwork, no more handwriting names. All of that was gone. Now I just had time back in my schedule and leverage. And imagine for a second what your neighborhood could look like if your signs are actually in the ground. This here is just a couple of my signs, and I'm going to tell you, I do not get tired of seeing my signs in the ground. It's actually pretty cool. And I also didn't want to miss a beat in my life. I don't think prospecting needs to be complicated. It can be taken care of with the push of a few buttons, and that is for me through mail, because at the end of the day, time won't stand still. And one of the things I always hear agents say is, I can't do it because I'm with my kids. Please don't use your children as an excuse. Use them as the reason why. I'm not saying that because I know it's easy. I'm saying that because I've walked the walk, so I can talk the talk. And yes, sending out postcards can be done after bedtime. Handing out flyers in person can be done with them. It's called taking a walk. Children are supposed to take walks. It's healthy for them. So again, building a business is possible with them. And now, best of all, since I switched to GeoCentral, I now get leads while I sleep. So we rolled out something new, because some of you are, that's great, I don't think I want to jump in quite yet. So what we rolled out is really more of a starter program for real estate agents who are just looking for the postcards. And if that is you and you're like, you know what, maybe postcards are for me, maybe they're not. But if you think, hey, maybe they are for me, GeoCentral Lite is a great way for you to test it out. Okay. If you can get yourself to sit in front of a computer and actually send out a postcard, and you actually like the process of it, maybe postcards are for you too. So GeoCentral Lite is $47 a month. It is our starter program for postcards only. You can literally build out the for sale by owner drip that I just shared with you. Okay. You can get the templates. I showed you where I got my templates from. You can go get GeoCentral Lite, and you can just pull up the video on the GeoCentral website and you can recreate it right there. So that's one of the options I wanted to share with you, because so many people are always, what do I do now? Okay, I'm going to give you the steps, because I think there's more to postcards than just for sale by owners. There's also other templates that we will give you. So if you wanted to try it out for your farm, there's templates that you will get with it. Give it a go. Okay. If you can set up an entire for sale by owner automation that you just watched me do in 7 minutes, pretty sure that you can figure out how to bring in a postcard like this and launch it to your farm. Now, a real estate agent's best kept secret, I haven't even shown you what the best kept secret is what we refer to as our smart QR code technology. So here's what happens. You saw me put a link in when I did the for sale by owner ones, and I said, this is going to link our QR code. And what happens is when you do that part, you will receive an instant notification the moment someone scans your QR code. There's no code needed. There's no form they have to submit. It's the simple effort of them scanning a QR code. When they scan the QR code, the system will recognize the QR code. The system will match it with the house address it was sent to. And you as the user will get an email or a text message that says, hey, so-and-so at 123 Main Street just scanned the QR code from this mailing. And that alone has boosted my personal lead intake by about 30%. Now, that is not where the story ends. The postcards itself that we have created through GeoCentral are also participating in informed delivery. Some of you know informed delivery. which is great. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you have no clue what informed delivery is. The United States Postal Service has a program which is free to sign up for called Informed Delivery. And what happens is that it will send you an email about what's about to be in your mailbox. So now my postcards are actually in it because they are going first class mail through GeoCentral. So the postcard I'm sending is not just creating a physical touch, it's also creating a digital impression, meaning that my postcards now are seen in more than one medium, but I'm only paying for one of them. Some of you just realized the importance of that? That's right. There's no other medium in this entire industry that can deliver you two touches, physical and digital, in one product. So when I hear people say direct mail is old school, I couldn't disagree more. Direct mail is one of the smartest things you could have in your business that is giving the best bang for your buck. Okay. Again, I'm totally biased. Most of you on here will know that I'm totally biased, but this is what it is. So GeoCentral Lite is truly giving you high impact mail system that you can use to generate leads and listings, and at the same time helps you maximize your marketing budget. So GeoCentral Lite, here's what you can expect. What happens: you're going to receive an SMS with an account registration link immediately, and it's going to ask you to complete your registration by adding a credit card for postage charges. Yes, unlimited free printed postcards. You cover postage, which is based on USPS rates. You receive a welcome email from me, and then from there you get to leverage the system. Okay, if you have not logged in after 30 days, that might be a problem. Okay, you may want to then upgrade to be part of our community, because that's what we do all month long. So that's GeoCentral Lite. It is like the dabbler's way of just trying out postcards, if they are for you or not. The FSBO ones, you can set up on that. You can use it for your past clients. You can send out happy birthdays on it. Okay, there's a whole lot of things you can do on this $47 a month plan if farming and jumping in with 2 feet is a little bit too much. So for those of you that are saying, okay, we've tried expensive postcard companies and they've just, took my money and ran. If mailing a postcard seems expensive to you, chances are this is true because you're selecting companies that upcharge you to keep their lights on. Okay. So again, if you are linking arms with somebody that's not a postcard company, yes, we do postcards, but I don't make my living on postcards. Okay. So I don't have to upcharge you on postcards, which is why they print for free. If you're unable to track your results, so you never know what's working, that is a big problem in the direct mail industry. When I got started, now I know when my postcards hit because I get scans. I get notifications that people are interacting. It's kind of cool. If you're finding it hard to generate quality leads with mailers, I have not gotten a single bad lead from one of my postcards. Why? Because it's people that actually live there. I don't have, Jake from State Farm opting in. I don't. I don't have noneofyourbusiness.com giving me that name for one of my lead magnets, right? So you're actually reaching real seller leads in an area that you actually want to work in. You know the price point of that market that you're targeting. If you're overwhelmed trying to keep up with all the things that a real estate agent has to do, welcome to small business ownership. It is why our failure rate is so high. Being a small business owner requires system, it requires leverage. This is not about you being a wonder child and knowing all the things. This is you being smart about putting things in place. So now here's what this would look like, right? You join GeoCentral Lite, you unlock unlimited free printed postcards with smart QR code technology, unlimited automations, and you do have a basic design catalog at your disposal. You just end up covering the postage for every postcard you end up sending. You follow the steps to set up your account and you launch your first postcard campaign. You start building your brand as a trusted local expert. From there, you're going to watch your community presence grow, your lead flow stabilizes, and your reputation soar. All of that while saving time, reducing stress, and building a business you're proud of. Now, you've saw this flight, I'm sure, a couple times before in different forms. The best time to get started, right? Same principle. The best time to plant a tree, 30 years ago. The second best time, that's now. So, if you have been thinking about doing postcards, I wish this had existed as I started my postcard journey. It did not, so we created it. Again, thank you all for coming. Thanks for showing up today. I want to leave this slide up here a little bit longer, but for sale by owners, build a system around it. Go look for the signs. You know some of these people will need help. So now it's just a matter of showing up consistently and being there for them. All right. And again, thanks for tuning in. I hope this was fun. I hope you did learn something. You see how simple something can be. And now, when you drive to the neighborhood the next time and you see a for sale by owner sign, all you got to do is put that in to that address book that you've seen on the screen, and out it goes. So it doesn't have to be complicated. And I hope it was really, really a fun hour spent. All right. That's all I got. Thanks so much for yet another amazing lunch and learn. And I'll talk to you pretty soon.